Welcome to 8 Minutes Reading Channel, Episode 1.30. I will read from Article 379 to 386. Environment and Natural Resources Code, Kingdom of Cambodia, Article 379. Public or private projects. 1. The development of all construction and public infrastructure projects in the natural protected areas shall be subject to prior consultation with the ministry responsible for environmental and natural resources and subnational administrations. 2. All private construction or building projects in the natural protected areas shall receive a prior permit from the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources or subnational administrations. 3. All constructions, buildings, or public infrastructures across or in natural protected areas shall have signposts indicating natural protected areas clearly and appropriately. 4. Signposts or the determination for the use of signposts for constructions, buildings, or public infrastructure across or in natural protected areas shall be determined by the interministerial prakas of the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and the ministries or institutions responsible for public work and transport. Article 380. Armed Forces Stations in Natural Protected Areas. 1. For permanent or temporary stations or relocation of stations of the armed forces in natural protected areas, the ministry responsible for armed forces shall, in collaboration with the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administration, study and request approval from the Royal Government and Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. 2. When current armed forces stations in natural protected areas are disbanded, the armed forces unit shall return the station to the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administration for their management. 3. Exercises, training, and camping of the armed forces in natural protected areas shall be prohibited except as necessary for national security and defense. These activities can be conducted only in sustainable use zones and/or conservation zones with permission from the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Article 381. Importation, exportation, and breeding of alien animal and plant species. All exportations and importations of plant seeds and crossbreeding of alien wildlife, wild plants, alien non-native plants, and fish in natural protected areas shall be researched, diagnosed, and assessed, and shall receive permission from the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Article 382. Importation, exportation, and trading. Non-commercial exportation and importation, and trading of animals, plants, plant seeds, crossbreeding, and sample natives in the natural protected areas of the kingdoms of Cambodia with other countries shall be researched, diagnosed, and assessed, and shall have permission from the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. Article 383. Wildfire prevention. 1. It is prohibited to cause wildfire in natural protection areas. 2. The use of fire may be allowed by officials responsible for natural protected areas for the benefit of silviculture, fire path, or forest hygiene. 3. Citizens, armed forces, and subnational administration shall be obligated to collaborate in preserving and protecting forests against wildfire. Article 384. Prohibition of activities impacting natural resources. Each natural protected area shall protect, prevent, and prohibit all activities of cutting, excavating, invading, encroaching on forest lands in violation or for commercial activities, polluting biodiversity resources surrounding wildfire, swamp area fire, nomadic agriculture, import of disease, pest/insect, alien plants or animals that would harm or impact natural protected areas, as well as the following prohibited activities. A. Removing, pulling out, or destroying boundary markers or signs indicating boundaries of natural protected areas. B. Exercising the right to use natural resources in breach of legally recognized or permitted rights. C. Cutting, felling, sterilizing, or destroying trees, poison, or uprooting the tree stump. Deed hunting, collecting eggs and offspring of wildlife and birds in all forms. E. All forms of water pollution, poisoning, chemical use, disposal of solid and liquid waste into water or the earth's surface, use of electrocution equipment. F. Trading, transporting, stocking, purchasing, selling of wildlife and all types of samples, raising wild animals and plants for commercial activities without Permission. G. Destroying natural grasslands, plants, and wildlife habitats. H. Releasing animals and walking hunting dogs on a leash. I. Fishing practices that cause damage to national resources in marine and freshwater territories, flooded forests, mangrove forests, coral reefs, and sea grass, violating this code. J. Establishing facilities and processing aloe wood, holy basil, osmum sanctum, and rabbit vine, Pteramnus labialis, or other prohibited natural resource byproducts, and freshwater or saltwater aquaculture in violation of the provisions in this code, and techniques that lead to pollution or destruction of biodiversity and ecosystems surrounding. K. Using equipment that causes noise, vibration, wave, and smoke disturbance, which may cause damage to natural resources and environmental protection in core zones and conservation zones. L. Destroying, changing, erasing, or damaging all kinds of information signposts. M. Extracting stones, gravel, sand, and minerals, pulling out, clearing, excavating without permission. N. Deposit, fill in the land, water territories, catchment, watercourses, natural lakes, wetlands, floodplain, spring, or reservoir without permission. O. Importing of motorized saws and other machinery without permission. P. Destroying public infrastructure. Q. Blocking environmental water flows of lakes, rivers, canals, and streams without permission. R. Placing surrounding boundary markers or signposts on state land and natural protected areas to possess and procure ownership rights. Article 385. Prohibition of natural resource byproduct processing. 1. Natural resource byproducts processing, establishing and operating facilities for wood sawing, wood cutting, sawmill, wood processing, natural resource byproducts handicraft, and all kinds of kills that use natural resources byproducts shall be prohibited in core zones and conservation zones except for sustainable use zone and community zones with permission from the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources. 2. Natural resource byproducts processing, establishing and operating facilities for wood sawing, wood cutting, sawmill, wood processing, natural resource byproducts handicraft, and all kinds of kills that use natural resource byproducts in natural protected areas shall be prohibited. Article 386. Prohibition of individuals' rights. Persons shall not be permitted to directly or indirectly clear forest lands, own lands, cut trees, capture all kinds of wildlife, or commence all sorts of activities to collect natural resource byproducts in natural protected areas in violation of the provisions in this code. Thank you for listening, and see you in episode 1.31.